What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the CompileSwift podcast or videocast if you're watching this on YouTube. I am Peter Whittam. I'm the host. You can find myself and this podcast at compileswift.com. This episode is all about a question that came up in our Dev Club Discord. Now, if you want to join that very quickly, you can go to compileswift.com/Discord. There's a link in the notes, and you can take part in the conversations there. We have great conversations about many different development topics. This question in particular is a shout out to Halux, who asked some advice of knowing when to fix a bug or ship something and fix the bug afterwards. And this is a very difficult topic. It's going to be a personalized answer for each of us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hope to give you something to think about here by the way I validate and look at these things and say, okay, what am I going to do? So my process is, I think, pretty straightforward. I do this, right? I'm working on an app. My teams are working on an app, whatever it may be. And we come across an issue. The first thing we do is we discuss it and make sure we got a complete understanding of what the problem is. Then I have a series of check marks, determine whether this is going to be something vital that needs to be done now in this version, or can wait and ship in the next version and not delay timelines, things like that. The order goes like this. First of all, is it a legal issue? If there's, like, for example, let's say the privacy policy link is not working, something like that. If it's a legal related thing or something that's required from one of the app stores, it's absolutely fixed in this version. Simple as that. Next up, is it a revenue impacting thing if I'm doing this for a client? If the answer is yes, we look at how severe it is. We look at the edge case, right? Is it an edge case going to happen to, say, 1 in 10,000 people? Or is it going to happen for a lot of people? And then I'll go talk to a product department or the client, whoever that may be, explain it to them and ask them basically, what do you want us to do? Oh, if they say fix it, we fix it. If they say it can wait, we ship it in the next version. Now, the next one up is how much of an impact is it to the user? Again, is it an edge case? Is a user going to hit this often? Is a user going to hit this one time? For example, let's say it's something related to signing up for push notifications. Maybe it's a spelling mistake in some of the text. Okay, they're only going to see it once, and they're either going to choose a yes or a no, something like that. Okay, we can fix that in the next version. Is it something they're going to see often or cause them a problem with the user flows in the app? And if the answer is yes, we look at it and say, again, how severe is it? Is it going to prevent them from doing what they want to do? And if the answer is no, and it doesn't happen very often, and it's a minor, we'll do it in the next patch. If the answer is yes, this is going to come up quite frequently, it's going to be very annoying for the user, we fix it in the current version. Next up is how long do we think it will take to fix whatever it is? If it's a quick thing, or if you're doing it in sprints and it's like a couple of points or a point, something like that, if you do Scrum sprints, you'll know what that means. Then if it's a small thing and it won't take but more than a few hours or something like that or less, fine. Let's just do it in this version and ship it. If it's something that requires some reworking or there's some kind of bigger problem involved here, some analysis, it doesn't happen every time, some changes to some APIs, anything like that, next version. Next up is how difficult is it going to be to maintain and deal with this bug? Is this very closely linked with the last one? Is this something we're going to have to put some serious engineering effort into? If it is, we look at it and say, again, discuss with the client, hey, can we do this in the next version? Here's the problem. Or should we do this in this version because it's going to cause us a problem next time around for kind of a long-term issue? And we look at it from there. So that's a breakdown of how I look at these things and say, okay, how severe is this? Should we do this now or should we wait? Now, obviously, this is a very high level overview of this problem, right? There is a whole bunch of levels below that. But that's my basic starting blocks for analyzing the problem with the team and saying, okay, should we do this now or should we wait? There are some things, like I say, legal, user revenue related. more than likely will fall in the category of we should do this now. Then there's the other things, which is it's just an irritation to the engineering teams. It is a real edge case that's only going to happen once or twice in every X thousands of users or more. Invariably, that ends up being one of those next patch. If it's a silly typo, something like that, you've left a letter out. So instead of saying user, it says USR or something like that. Not a huge deal. If it's a quick fix, we do it. Otherwise, it can wait till next time. Same with things like translations, right? As long as the translation into the appropriate languages that's supported by your apps is good, but maybe not perfect, it comes down to how long would it take you to get those new translations in place and things like that. Personally, from my perspective, I'm one of those people that I'm never afraid to push a timeline and go back to a client or whatever and say, look, it's not quite right. Want a little extra time if we can make something better. Because, these things, it's like everything, right? Once you see it, you don't unsee it and it's going to bother you. And these things usually bother me. But there is a point at which, especially when you're someone like myself, like an engineering manager, where you've got to make these decisions and say, we just got to push this out. We got to do this, meet the deadlines, and do this in the next version. And it's difficult. It is a difficult decision to make because the developer in me always says, I want to fix everything now. As developers, we know that's how we are, and engineers. We always want to fix everything straight away. But there's a bigger picture involved, right? Which is also why it's never good, where possible, to make these decisions by yourself. You should make them as a team or get someone else's opinion, especially if there's a product or a client involved, some teams like that. Get their opinion. Be very transparent with them about issues. And maybe they'll make the decision for you, right? Which, great, because it's important that they're as happy as the users. Things like that. Certainly, if you ship something that you're not sure about and then the users see it otherwise, we all know this, they're going to tell you about it in the reviews. That's the way it works. And then you're going to look at it and go, oh, okay, next time I'm not making that mistake. Simple as that. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have questions or anything like this, please, again, drop by compileswift.com/Discord. Love to see you in the Discord. Love answering questions and helping people and having these kind of discussions about how do you do it, what do I do, things like that, and coming up with solutions between ourselves. We have a very positive community in there as well. So shout out to all of them. That's what I got for you in this very short episode, but this is a very important topic. I felt that this was worth bringing to the wider audience. Love to hear what you do. Again, go to compileswift.com/contact. Let me know if you want to come on the podcast or video and talk about it. I would love that to happen as well. I'm always looking for guests, always love having conversations with folks. I have been blessed to have so many wonderful conversations with guests so far. Love to see that continuing. That's what I got for you. If you like this, you know what to do. I'm not going to tell you all the usual things, and I will speak to you in the next episode.